Out of the Maze by Spencer Johnson. Spencer Johnson tells the fictional story of two people named Hem and Haw who live in a maze, and they spend their lives searching for cheese as their only food source in the maze. One day, they discover a room in the maze that contains an infinite supply of cheese, and it keeps increasing day by day, which made them settle in that room and stop exploring the rest of the maze. One day, the cheese supply suddenly disappears from the room, then Haw goes off to search for a new source of cheese in the maze, while Hem waits for the cheese supplies to reappear in the same room. Days pass and Hem begins to feel hungry, lonely and worried about what happened to Haw. The cheese that Hem adored in the story is a metaphor for happiness and success that when we find we take it for granted and feel like it belongs to us. But after the change of circumstances, some of us choose to move forward like Haw, while others try to hold on to the past, as Hem did. Bit to remember, when a person is happy and successful, he does not appreciate them correctly, and then he feels lonely, scared, and upset when he loses them. After a while, Hem feels so hungry that he has to leave the room and look for other sources of cheese, pushing himself into the dark corners of the maze that he had previously been afraid to go through as he was afraid of darkness and getting lost. He walked quickly through the maze, and he quickly lost hope when he passed what appeared to be the dead ends in the maze. He was very cautious and unhopeful, and this is the feeling we get when we face uncomfortable changes that push us to leave the past and move on in our lives. We find ourselves lost in a state of despair and fear. We do not want to get lost in a new world that we don't really know its secrets, and with the many paths and options, we do not risk taking many of them fearing that they will lead us to a dead end. Hem keeps searching for cheese until he gets tired and falls asleep in one of the abandoned maze rooms. In the morning he finds himself surrounded by mysterious red balls. It looks like a kind of food that Hem had never seen in his life. Then it turns out that it is a fruit called apple, which was given to him by a girl named Hope who was walking through the maze searching for apples that were the usual source of her food. Hope gave Hem her last apples, and she cheered him up with some words of encouragement to keep searching. The apple in the story is an alternative symbol of happiness and success. Once we taste it, we may feel that we no longer need our old source of happiness. Bit to remember, when a person loses the source of his happiness and success, he loses hope and he becomes afraid to open himself to new experiences or adventures. Hem and Hope continued exploring the maze together searching for cheese and apples. They found crumbs of cheese and apples, which made them increasingly nostalgic for the old days. And Hem began to remember his past days with Haw and felt broken and lost confidence. In our lives, after experiencing change, we may fall prey to something of nostalgia, whether it is a career or a relationship, and often the source of our happiness or success is the source of our strength and self-respect. Therefore, nostalgia drives us to lose our self-confidence at the present time and to lose a large part of our happiness and our morale. In an effort to keep him hopeful, Hope suggests adopting a new strategy, which is changing Hem's personal beliefs. At first glance, it seems shocking to Hem how a person can change his deep-seated beliefs as if they were just a piece of clothing. Many of us do not dare to change their inner psychological beliefs because they seem to them to be an essential part of their personalities. Imagine a medical student who has found happiness in studying medicine, but fails the acceptance tests. You may find him living in a phase of loss and continuing to search for a way to get accepted into any other medical school, but to no avail. Perhaps he should give up his belief that he must become a doctor to be happy. However, he may feel that this is impossible since this belief appears to be a part of his own identity. Bit to remember, any change in your life circumstances may negatively affect your self-confidence, and it may seem that it is impossible to overcome this negative impact and return to the path of success. As such, beliefs can have a powerful effect on us whether negatively or positively. As with the story of Hope and Hem, the belief we hold within can free us from a dead end or keep us trapped in it. At that moment, Hem recalls his past and his friend Haw's reaction to realize that his old belief that all I can eat is cheese was the barrier preventing him from moving forward in life. But after he chose to try the apple, he realized that he could eat other things, which meant that he had already changed one of his beliefs. At that moment, Hope shocks him with another suggestion, saying, "Why don't we try to escape from the maze?" For Hem, this seems completely unthinkable. He has no idea that there is any life outside the maze. For him, the maze is the whole world. Hem then recalls that he had already had to change one of his beliefs when he tried apples after being forced to do so by extreme hunger. We can apply the same to our jobs, goals, and plans in life. We won't know what's possible until we test and try something new. After a short thought, Hem decides to find a way out of the maze, and to achieve this he abandons his belief that the boundaries of the maze are dangerous areas, and believes that his fear of it is what prevents him from exploring new parts of the maze. Hem ignores his belief that generates fear, and finally he had the courage to explore the boundaries of the maze. After a journey of exploration, he finds a narrow passage at the end of the maze that leads him and Hope to a large empty room. Hem and Hope are disappointed at first, and Hem thought of going back to the maze. Hope stops him and reminds him of the power of believing in possibilities, and Hem became encouraged to explore the large room. It turns out to Hem that one of the walls has a crack that leads into a dark tunnel. After much hesitation, Hem and Hope entered the tunnel, which leads them to the outside world that is full of green meadows, sunlights and blue skies, and that is full of cheese and abundant apples. And there Hem also meets his old friend Haw. But to remember, our personal beliefs are just perceptions that we convinced ourselves with in the past, and by changing them we can overcome many challenges and open many doors to happiness and success.
Thanks for watching. Please follow our social media accounts. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel.